welcome to this vlog about my first designing journey. So I'm planning on making a raglan sweater with this yarn. Here's my swatch of the yarn. This is a DK weight non-superwash merino. It's hand dyed. It's by Poppy and Spruce Fibers. The colorway is Hello There Sporgus, and I have swatched it on US 6 needles. And it's a little holy through the sun, but it doesn't, it's not see-through, and I really like the drape of it. So I'm working up this sweater in US 6 needles in this yarn. I spent a lot of hours last night doing math and trying my first cast on. I finally figured out the raglan math. I think I'm doing kind of a raglan sweater with tapered shaping. So the arms I will stop increasing before the body stops increasing, and cast on and worked a little bit of it. I'm not loving the way the increases the raglan's looking right now, so I'm gonna try something else. So I'm gonna frog back and try something else, but I'm actually getting on a flight to my final destination is Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. So I have 24 hours of travel ahead of me, so I have a few hours this morning to work on this and just see where things are. I'm gonna do that, probably call my mom for the last time for a while too. Hopefully I can figure out the right raglan look. I think my increases are correct. It's just I want the raglan stitches to look a little different. So I'm gonna play with something else. Hopefully I can figure it out before I have to leave, and then I'll next update you from an airport or a plane or maybe my final destination. We'll see how tired I am, but all right, happy to be starting this journey. Okay, so I'm planning to voice over a lot of this. So here I am, the first time I picked up my camera, flying from Amsterdam to Dar es Salaam. This was a 9-hour daytime flight, and we flew over a lot of beautiful things, got to see the Mediterranean, the Sahara Desert. Here's a little clip of just flying. It's just clouds. I don't know why I recorded now. But yeah, got to Zanzibar or Tanzania 25 hours after I left home. Hello from Dar es Salaam. I landed yesterday in Dar, Tanzania, after 25 hours of travel. And during that time, I pretty much just worked on this project. I read a lot too and tried and failed to sleep. I ended up being awake for, I think, 32 hours straight. So would not recommend that. But I went to work today, met with the people I needed to, and I'm now finally back in my room, relaxing a little bit, and gonna work on this a little. So I'm probably a third of the way through the raglan, maybe a little further. Oh no, I'm more than halfway through the raglan. Wow. Did not realize I got that far. And yeah, it's shaping up nicely. Right now it's not joined because it's a V-neck, so I might put it on needles or on stitch holders just to see how it's doing. But I ended up going with this kind of wider raglan, and I did the opposite increases than what you normally do on a raglan. So typically it would, be knit to marker, make one right, knit your raglan stitches, slip marker, make one left. I reversed that to hopefully minimize holes. I still think there's I don't know, just a little bit of awkwardness on the sides, but that's part of raglans. And yeah, I don't know. I want to see it on to decide how I really feel about the raglan stitches or the way I've chosen to do this. Maybe it could be a little thinner, but hey, so far nothing's gone terribly wrong. It seems to be fitting right so far. Okay, for the rest of my trip, I was not the best knitter. I was kind of busy working, and then I spent a weekend in Zanzibar swimming in the Indian Ocean, snorkeling with these fish and feeding the fish. I don't think you're supposed to do this, but our guide let us. Here's the boat I was on for that. We also swam with dolphins, and it was beautiful. And then I ended up in a jungle with these monkeys, which was amazing, and walking on the beach. Honestly, this tour was very chaotic, but it was beautiful. I saw a lot, and I did bring a sock knitting project with me, so here I am knitting at my hotel in Zanzibar with a buddy. Here's a little bit of the hotel surrounding. It was kind of in a jungle. And then I got to the airport the next day, or the day after. I had one more work day, and then ended up back in the airport, ready to go home, and knit for a few hours there before checking in. This is my flight from Dar es Salaam to Paris, and I joined in the round here, which was exciting. And then on my flight from Paris to Minneapolis, I actually was able to upgrade to first class and watch Harry Potter the whole time and lay down, which was amazing. And here's my first try-in in the round. So I don't know why I'm including the whole clip of me putting it on, but here's, me putting on the sweater for the first time, which was quite exciting. I look atrocious. I'm sorry. I'm 10 hours into travel at this point. The bangs had to go away, but it fits, as you can see. So I love the way the raglan looks here. The v-neck obviously is very deep, and I was kind of concerned about how deep the v-neck looked, but you'll see later that I add a pretty thick collar, so it works out. And yeah, the sleeves look great. They fit well. Yep, my phone falls. I brought no equipment with me for this, but everything fits, which is awesome. And then yeah, more knitting with Harry Potter. I'm about to finish my second skein here, so you can see my second skein's almost gone, which is exciting. And I decided after finishing that second skein, I wanted to put the body on hold. So if I can hurry up and knit here, you will see that I'm going to put the body on hold, but it is always very satisfying to see like finishing up at the end. And yeah, I finished that skein, and here's how it looks with my arm in the way. Yay! And then time to try it on. Very tragically, when I went to put on my try it on tubing, I lost my favorite stitch marker. It kind of fell directly between the seats. So trying to put on the tubing, keep my cool, and then here I am looking for that stitch marker. I even asked a flight attendant to help me. Was very sad about it. On the same flight, or on my same journey home, I lost, here's the stitch marker in question, by the way, but on that same journey, I lost my AirPods, and I was more upset about losing this like $2 piece of plastic than my AirPods. And here's another try on anyways, getting over the sadness of losing that stitch marker. And yeah, it looks great. It's long. V-neck's fitting well, and I was clearly a little bit concerned about it in these clips and very sleep deprived, but I think it looks great. And then the rest of this flight, I just knitted on a pair of socks, and yeah. Hello. Okay, I'm home for another like 8 hours, less than that. 10 hours before I go to Alaska. But I'm back from Tanzania, and I've got a wearable garment. Still, very short. Needs a lot more knitting done on it, but split for sleeves. And yeah, I finished 2 skeins of yarn over my trip. The second skein I finished on just the journey home. I put it on, or I attached it like halfway through my flight from Paris, or to Paris. So I flew from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania to Paris, France, and then from Paris to Minneapolis, and then to Denver. And so attached it on that second, on like halfway through the Paris to Paris flight. And yeah, did a lot of work on it between all the flights I had to take. But I didn't really work on it in Tanzania that much. I was working like 9-10 hour days, very tired, and then also spent the weekend in Zanzibar, which I'll insert some clips of and everything. But overall, it was a really lovely trip. Right now there's a 9-hour time difference, so I kind of feel like I don't know what time it is. I was also traveling for like 25 hours of flights, 30 hours total of everything. So feeling a little out of sorts. Tomorrow I'll be getting to Canada to then embark the next day and head towards Alaska. So things are good. Sweater is happening, and I'm gonna pick up for the neck now. And yeah, next thing you'll see is the collar in action. So okay, bye. All right, so then I had my last night at home, my first and last night for a little bit. So I knit on the collar with my favorite knitting buddy, Fig. Here she is just taking a little nap on my knitting. She's so cute. She was so happy I was home, then so sad I left. And then here I am on the flight to Vancouver from Denver. I was actually able to finish the entire collar on this flight, plus all of the airport knitting I did. So that was great. It was very enjoyable. And then here's how the collar was looking once I landed. It was beautiful, and I had a lot of time in the Vancouver airport because I was waiting for my grandma's flight to end. So here's a little try on of how it looked with the collar. You can tell, like, I'm kind of not sure about it yet. I'm also, of course, very tired, not sure exactly where I am in the world after being so many places, but yeah, not totally convinced. Like, look at that face right there. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but I do really love it now. But yeah, it needed a little bit of a block, I think, to smooth out. And yeah, just a lot more knitting time in the airport. I started the sleeve while I was waiting. I was approached by like 3 or 4 different customs officers asking why I was just sitting there for so long. But eventually my grandma got there and we had a lovely day in Vancouver. We went to the gardens that I'm forgetting the name of and the aquarium and saw this little monkey. He was really cute. And then we got on our cruise and just thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. So this is the first night sitting on one of the decks, just watching the ocean go by. We were in a passage, so we had land on either side of us, which was a really nice start. It was such a smooth cruise, like no big waves the whole time. And my grandma and I were very popular with our knitting. A lot of people were calling us the knitting ladies, which was so sweet. But yeah, just thoroughly enjoyed this cruise. Was so happy to finally be in one place for a while, know where I was going to sleep for a little bit, and not have to be in any more airports for a little bit. I still had one more flight ahead, but yeah, was wonderful. And then about halfway through the first sleeve I was working on, I realized I was doing it wrong. The decrease rate was wrong and had to frog it. So there was that clip of the frogging and just some more knitting, enjoying the ocean go by. I'm also wearing my Eva cardigan. This was such a great knitting trip overall. My grandma also knits, so got to knit with her, got to wear a lot of my hand knits in the cooler weather and be cozy, and just continued working on the sleeve again. Hi, there's probably a lot of background noise, but I wanted to check in really quickly and say I'm on my way to Alaska. I'm on the cruise. I made it. Yay. Very cold after, a week and a half in Tanzania. Very cold. So I've been working on the sweater a lot because I have the time and it's chilly and I'd love to kind of be able to wear it, or I can just cozy up while I'm working on it. So since I've last actually talked to you, I filmed clips, but I made the neckline. I chose to do it doubled up, so it's double thick, and then 2x2 rib. I think it's really nice. It's gonna block a little calmer, but nice. And then yeah, I'm working on a sleeve. This is my second attempt at the sleeve. I had the decrease rate messed up the first time, but yeah, it's coming together. So I'll continue to update, and you'll probably see, some whales or dolphins or glaciers as I'm, able to take little clips of them. So yeah, all right, bye. Okay, so then we saw this little island, went on through the fjords, and also saw these orca whales in the fjords, which it's very rare to see orcas inside the fjords, so it was really cool. There was a whole pod of them, which was fascinating. And then I finally got back to knitting, got back on the ship and knit some. This clip specifically was taken at afternoon tea. They had that on the ship every day, so it was amazing. And then we ended up staying at afternoon tea so long that we pulled up to this glacier and were able to see the glacier out of the windows, which was just incredible. Hi, I look a little crazy. I just woke up, but I have very little alone time on this cruise, so wanted to take the opportunity to update on the progress of my sweater. So, look, I have a whole sleeve. I love the way it fits. It's pretty easy. I did like the long 2x2 rib cuff. I did a tapered sleeve, and I used the center double decrease. It's slightly bumpy, but I don't know. I think I like it better than doing 2 decreases on each side. So it's 6 a.m. But yeah, very pretty. It's really coming along. So I'm adding another skein to the body, and then I'll probably do the other sleeve and then finish off the body. So yeah, it's very fun. I've really been enjoying the cruise. Saw a glacier yesterday. We're in Juneau today. We're very popular with our knitting. My grandma and I have been, sitting places and knitting, and a lot of people come up to talk to us, which is kind of sweet. So that's all. And I'll check in at some point soon. Bye. Okay, and then back to knitting and looking out windows. This was filmed on one day. I forget where we were, but we sat waiting for tea and knitted, looking out the window. And then the next day we were at this amazing glacier. This is one of the few glaciers that's still growing, and it was amazing to watch. Here's a picture of me knitting on the way to that glacier. We were right at the front of the ship. It was amazing. And then there was sea ice all around from the glacier, and it made such an interesting sound. So I'll just let you hear that for a second. Isn't that amazing? It's from the glacial ice that forms at a super high elevation, so it has high pressure. Once it comes down and starts melting, when it gets in the ocean, it releases all these air bubbles that are 400 years old. So it's really cool. Hello from Sitka, Alaska. I'm pretty far on the sweater, so I've got 2 sleeves, neckline, which I did a while ago, and then the body is quite long. It's already, if I'm standing, below my belly button. It's like, below like the top part of my jeans where the button is. So I think that I'm ready to start on ribbing, which is exciting. So I'm gonna do that now, but wanted to show where it is while it's still on the needles or on the holders where I can try it on. The one thing that not crazy about so far is the way that this looks in the neckline. I don't know, like it just, I guess because these stitches, are flat, and the stitches picked up here are like from a cast on edge, and so it's given a slight difference. It gets smoothed down, like I can pretty easily just push it and smooth it mostly down, so hopefully with a block, and then from back here it looks fine. But when it's your own project and you're looking at it really closely, you get that perfectionist itch. But yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. I love the way it's fitting. I love the color. It's so soft. I wish you all could feel it. And it's been fun to work on. I mean, I've worked on it in such beautiful places. Yesterday I sat all day at the front of the ship and watched, we got right up to a glacier, which was incredible. It's one of the only glaciers that's still growing, and got to see a lot of it calving. I'll figure out what the right term is, but when big chunks of ice fall into the ocean, and there were lots of little bergy bits and icebergs around, it was very cool. and I was knitting while watching that, which was really cool. So yeah, it's a great memory piece. It's great to work on, and I'm excited to just be on the ribbing now. So I'm probably going to do about 4 inches of ribbing in the front, 5 inches in the back, and do a split hem in the 2x2. So next time you see it, I'll probably have that done. So yeah, I'll update soon, but yeah, things are going really well on it and enjoying the cruise, although you can probably hear I have a little bit of a sore throat. I don't know. A lot of guests on the cruise seem to have a little tiny cold, so we're taking precautions, being further away from people, resting a lot, but yeah, I mean, I am in the middle of the sea with a bunch of people. Things are kind of bound to spread, but it might also just be from the amount of climates I've been in recently are not feeling good on my throat. But yeah, anyways, that is all. I will update again in the near future, but it's going really well, having a lot of fun, and yeah, okay. I've talked for like 3 minutes now. Very good at chatting. Okay. Bye. Okay, so then for the next few days, I did just that. I worked on my ribbing for the split hem. There was an Irish band on board, and we were obsessed with them. So here's a clip of me knitting and listening to them and clapping, of course. Like, we were their groupies. Look at me singing along to this song. And I will just let you listen to some of the song because it was so beautiful. And if I shall become a stranger, know that it may be more than seven. 'Cause Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. So yeah, that Irish band was honestly the highlight of our trip. But here I am actually binding off the final bit and my first try on of the completed sweater. I was so happy to have it done. I'm making a very goofy face, as always, I think, and here's a better clip of it to show you what it really looked like. But I was so excited. This was a few days before our trip ended, so we still went to Victoria and did the Butchart. Please correct me on the pronunciation, but it's Butchart Gardens, and saw this cute little otter while we were there. And then also they had beautiful gardens with roses, so thoroughly enjoyed that trip and then made it back home. And then the first night I was home, I wove in all of the ends and watched Doctor Who and just really vegged out for that evening. It was wonderful to just sit and weave in all my ends, of course. There were so many to do. Honestly, there weren't that many. It was like 5 or 6, but it was really enjoyable. I'd left them all till the end. So, there were the ones on the neck and then sleeve ones. So got all those done, and yeah, it was good to weave in ends. It was just so nice to be home, honestly, after everything, and had my little buddy come sit with me. Of course, have to have a cat at some point during the knitting experience to have some supervision. So she finally settled in to enjoy knitting time with me. I just love when she comes. She always wants to sit on my knits, which is really cute but very unhelpful. And then here she is staring right at the camera. And then it was time to block. So, here I am soaking it in the water to start, making sure it gets well submerged. Is that the right word? Of course, again, have 2 kitty supervisors to make sure that the knitting is doing what it's supposed to. Here I am kind of stirring it around again with my 2 little helpers. They are really, really into anything knitting, honestly. Again, just inspecting the knitting in the water. They don't know what's happening. And then finally time to bring it out, squeeze out all that extra water. So fun. It's so satisfying, but this is always the scariest part of blocking for me. I'm always worried I'm going to stretch something out trying to bring it out of the water. But I want to squeeze out as much as I can before it has to be rolled out. So I rolled it out and then brought it to my blocking mats to lay it all out. So here I am, you know, getting it out, getting it ready, spreading it out, crawling just all over the floor, manhandling the sweater really. Of course, we have a kitty helper that's gonna investigate as well. They're, you know, they're very fun to work around constantly. I finally laid it out and spread it all nicely, and then Kepler decided to walk right across it, and so I had to smooth it again, and then I actually had to lock them out of my office. Every time I block, I lock the cats out of my office because Kepler's also obsessed with pulling T-pins, like the blocking pins, out of knits with his mouth. So that's great. So yeah, they get locked out. They also like to scratch on the mats, but then it was done. Okay, and that's a wrap on this sweater. It's blocked, it's done. In full transparency, I finished it, I don't know, like a week ago for the blocking, and then I was sick and didn't want to show it off. And you can see, like, I folded it and it has a few creases. I tried to steam those out, but I think that it looks amazing. It's so comfortable. I wore it yesterday and loved it, and yeah, I'm so happy with this design. It was very fun to do for myself, and next steps with this, I am kind of trying to grade it. Grading's very hard, so if I continue to do that process and eventually release this design, I will maybe film another video like this documenting the process of trying to grade something and test knitting it, like having a group of testers. I think that would be really cool. I'll definitely make another sample as well if I go forward, or just in general, my mom wants one. So this is not the last time you'll see this sweater design, even if I just make it for myself. But if you do like the way the sweater looks, please comment down below. Let me know. The more interest I know there is in actually designing this, the more effort I will actually put into it, because it's not worth designing and releasing a pattern. It does take a lot of time and effort, so it's not worth it if there's not interest. So let me know if you like this sweater and you would want one for yourself. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project vlog plus travel vlog. Hopefully it's not too chaotic. And yeah, I will see y'all next week. All right, bye.